I guess the loose concept of the album is is a character that it has a coma. Uh, for you, where did the fascination of comas come from?
Well, the idea for me, I wanted to create something. I wanted a very dark story, and I thought just the idea of like reincarnation's always been kind of fascinating to me. I mean, who knows if it's real or not, but the idea of like these other versions of yourself being in the past and living in worlds that could be completely different from ours, or scenarios that are completely different from ours. Like, what if you could travel back to those and experience them? And I thought it would be really neat to have him go in a coma and almost be like he's living this world while he's in a coma, and I think it's not that. Comas are, it is kind of fascinating because you don't know exactly what happens while people are in them, but I wanted to create something that made you feel a little uneasy, didn't always know what was happening, and then at the end, I made it so it was all just basically a dream within a dream, and you actually didn't experience any of it, which the idea of things like that is very creepy to me, and I think fit the overall kind of mood of the record. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, when I'm writing a story, I want all the lyrics and all the themes and the words to work well with what's happening in music.
Right. For you, as you know, a lot of songwriters will sometimes be a little more linear or a little more cryptic with their writing. So for you, when it comes to building an album from the storyteller standpoint, where did you get that inspiration, as an artist to tell these detailed stories and have characters and plots and subplots?
I mean, for me, I was kind of just thrown into it. When we first, I guess the first full-on concept we ever did was with the Parallax. But I had done a lot of storytelling, with Great Misdirect. Each song was kind of its own little story. So I kind of gradually got to this point, I guess. And it's just like learning how to write music or how to sing, or, you just kind of you're slowly getting better at it and learning how you work and what works for you. And that's kind of been the process for me.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, the way I look at it is I'm very visual, and I want to visualize like a movie in my head while the music's playing. So I can imagine what the music is doing, and I want to kind of recreate that through the lyrics. And I just kind of, there's a lot of structuring and outlines and trying to organize the record in a way so the story will actually come across and it will make sense with what song.
Right.
With certain songs, and with this record, I tried to organize it in a way that is a little more open-ended, where I wouldn't ever get stuck, because a band like us could switch genres like we do. Sometimes if a song gets kind of out there, it's hard to keep the story flowing and make it work. And this, when I came up with the idea of him living past lives within each song, that gave me freedom to really create whatever I wanted within each song.
Right.
So if one song was frightening, I could create a more frightening scenario for him. If it was heavier, I could create something a little more intense. Or if it was softer, I could do something that worked with that.
Right.
So I kind of learned through writing in the past with the Parallax, especially, that freedom helps, because you don't. I don't want to get stuck, and I don't want to make anything get boring. So that kind of gave me a lot more freedom to be creative and come up with even more story lines within the story. So that's what intrigued me about the story. And then overall, I think as a whole, the band just thought it worked well with what we were doing. It was very different from the Parallax, which I think was about the only intentional thing we did with this record, was we didn't want to repeat ourselves.